Last time on Eden Zero, Shiki battled the wizard and handedly managed to defeat him because, well, while he only wanted to use 1/10 of his power, he was forced to use just a wee bit more than that. But he defeated him nonetheless. But during the battle, Shiki started to realize something. That because the shining stars and the dark stars had no memories beyond a certain point, and that point was when Ziggy was still Shiki's grandpa, Shiki starts to wonder, were there two personalities existing within Ziggy? And why? And for what reason? Shiki's starting to realize there's more to Ziggy than he thought. But in terms of battles, who's up next? Let's find out. And then I immediately found out because it's called Chapter 189, Rebecca versus Clown. Honestly, it's the time-old tradition of Mashima pitting the female lead against a weird, jokey character. Right? Wizards on the ground, smoldering. Shiki says, no one can explain why Ziggy did what he did 18 years ago. Did he know he was going to go crazy? Is that why he did it? If so, does that mean there's some secret in the memories he erased from the four shining stars? Wizard says that is ridiculous, much to Shiki's shock. His current personality, the way he thinks now, that is the real Ziggy. 18 years ago, he was the one who had lost his memory. Shiki is unconvinced and says that's exactly why it doesn't add up. Why would he erase his friend's memory? And why are you in those memories? Shiki's asking the real questions here. Oh, meanwhile, Elsie Crimson awakens after her defeat at the hands of Ziggy. Oh, she's been bandaged, but she's also been handcuffed. I have no comment on this scene. Elsie struggles against her restraint, but her wound also throbs in pain. Justice, sitting across from her, says, keep your voice down. This place is crawling with android soldiers. Elsie is shocked and says, James. Justice looks at her. I did some first aid, but if you strain yourself, you'll reopen the wound. Elsie looks away and says, why? Did you help me? Justice simply says, I told you, I'm not helping you. It is my mission in life to kill you. Elsie responds, then kill me now. I won't have the strength to fight back. Justice responds, sorry, but I have no intention to do more than merely kill you. But I intend to do more than merely kill you. First you will stand trial in the Galactic High Court. Okay, I always kind of wondered. So he truly does want to bring her to justice. You will confess and atone for your crime. I won't kill you until after that. Elsie responds, Ziggy taught me. If you don't kill your opponent when you have the chance, you'll come to regret it. Justice looks at her and says, right now my focus is getting off Lendard. Elsie responds, the great champion of justice would take off and leave Ziggy to run amok. Justice says, Holy can take care of Ziggy. Elsie responds, you knew that she was with us? That two-faced she did betray us. Justice says, no, I received the report from Feather. We're all surprised so many of the Erasures says Galactica are in one place. So our whole team will fight too. Cure, Eraser, and Feather are all on their way. Okay, wow. This really is starting to feel like an endgame battle with so many of the Erasures says Galactica and the Erasures says Interstellar arriving. It's just like everyone's coming together. Even Elsie says that this is getting serious. Justice says, still, I know you were fighting the great Demon King himself, but I can't believe you were beaten so easily. Elsie doesn't respond for a moment, but then says, for a moment, he was the old Ziggy again. Justice simply says that was part of his plan. Elsie says, I'm not so sure. I just can't help feeling that part of his heart from the old days is still there inside him. Okay, so after getting through like 1/3 of the chapter, we're finally at Rebecca versus Clown. Not saying that I hated any of that stuff with Elsie and Justice. That needed to be addressed at some point. Rebecca is dangling from the rope with her cattail, and she manages to alley-oop back on. That is, Mashima, what? I start to wonder if he reflexively draws the girls looking sexy, or if he does it on purpose. Because sometimes I can't really tell. Clown seems to be a little bit surprised that she managed to recover, as Rebecca goes stomping towards him, nimbly across the rope. Rebecca goes in for a mighty high kick, but Clown manages to dodge. But Rebecca manages to go in for multiple kicks. nimbly across the rope as the clown is shocked and goes whoopsie and says, "What's gotten into you? Suddenly you're all raring to go." Rebecca responds, "Apparently my overdrive improves my sense of balance on my feet." Happy says, "Of course, because Cat Leaper was always centered in her legs and feet." I feel like that's just Mashima's foot fetish. Like, I feel like he developed a foot fetish at some point and is just taking it out on Rebecca. Oh god, Pino says equilibrioception, okay, is more in the semicircular canals and ultracules of the inner. Okay. Rebecca shouts, "The details aren't important." Clown responds to this by saying, Wizard did say we have permission to use overclock, but will I need it against you? I mean, honestly, I think I ended up with the wimpiest weakling of all. Wow, what an ass. Rebecca responds, "So what if I'm weak?" As she goes leaping forward. "I knew what I was getting into when I decided to fight." As she goes in with a mighty kick. But it's a swing and a miss. As Rebecca shouts on, "I don't care how weak I am. If I can help my friends, that's good enough." Clown says, "Can you though?" as he goes in with a mighty punch. But it misses as well, as Rebecca leaps out of the way. Midair, she says, "It's not about if I can or not. I already decided that I will," as she manages to deliver a pretty sweet kick right to Clown's head, much to his shock. Ooh, as he's rocketed towards the ground, Happy shouts, "You did it!" But Clown perfectly lands as Rebecca manages to land gracefully upon the rope. They stare each other down as Clown has his signature grin. Oh, meanwhile, with the Eden Zero, Libalia and Couchpoo are huddled listening to all the carnage going on outside. Couchpoo says, "Oh, Libby, maybe it wasn't such a good idea for you to stay on the ship after all." Libalia, still cowering, says, I'm fine, thank you." Couchpoo says, "There you go again, hiding behind that persona." Libalia shouts back, "Rebecca is out there fighting for us. I don't want to be the coward who runs away." The Couchpoo responds, "That may be so, but there's nothing either of us can do." Libalia says, "Hey, I know. This is exactly what B-cubes are for. Let's raise our morale with a fun video." Oh, geez. But you're right. Oh, there's a report. Libalia says, "Is this Rebecca's latest video?" Couchpoo says, "The million-dollar question. When would she have uploaded it?" Rebecca in the video says, "Hello and welcome to Aoneko channel. I'm Rebecca. I made this video today because I have something important to tell all my loyal viewers. I might have mentioned this a few times before, but I live on a spaceship. The entire crew is like a family to me. And tomorrow our ship will be setting out on a big mission. I can't tell you any details, but this mission is to protect the people I care about. And, well, I can't say it won't be dangerous, but don't worry, I promise I'll be back." And some of the comments are, "No, you expect us to live our lives without Rebecca? I'll wait as long as it takes. I'm gonna cry. Don't go. OMG, you're my life. There are people who you care about that aren't me." Oh god. Rebecca. "So I won't be able to upload any videos for a while, and I'm really sorry about that. But I promise you'll see me again. Bye until then." Oh. Couchpoo says, "Becky." And Libalia starts to cry. Couchpoo says, "What's the matter, Libby?" And Libalia, shaken, says, "It's just not fair. Why did Rebecca have to get dragged into all this fighting? She's just a video streamer, so why?" Couchpoo responds, "Well, it's like she said in her video. She thinks of the people on the ship as her family." But Libalia says, in response, "That doesn't mean she has to go out there and fight." Couchpoo says, "That's for Becky to decide. I don't think this means that she's not scared, but her desire to help her friends is bigger than her fear, and that's what's moving her forward." Libalia, with tears in her eyes, says, "Fine, then that means I have the right to protect her too." And she goes racing off. Couchpoo shouts to her, "Libby, wait, you can't leave the safe room. Libby!" Uh-oh. I have a bad feeling about that. Meanwhile, back at the fight between Rebecca and Clown, Clown snaps his fingers, and the rope under Rebecca disappears. Pino cries out, "The rope!" and Happy cries for Rebecca. but Rebecca says it's okay, cats always land on their feet, as she does just that. Suddenly spotlights form, and a ring of fire surrounds Rebecca. Oh, and it rises up to meet her as she shouts in shock, as the clown says sinisterly, "For our next act, we have the Ring of Fire." Oh, so it's like a circus performance full on, and Rebecca's the lion. Not as much Rebecca vs. Clown as I would have hoped, but a lot of world building and all that. I do wonder what Lobelia is going to do, and I hope it doesn't end up putting Rebecca in danger with her doing so. I would hate for that to be so counterproductive. And I want to see Rebecca having grown a lot from her battles. We don't know just how far Rebecca has come, so I want Rebecca to really show off what she's got. And as for Elsie and Justice, I don't know, something about Justice's stance, because the last time they fought, it was pretty to the death. So I do have to wonder, how much of his own Kool-Aid is Justice actually drinking? And Shiki's question about the peculiar nature of Ziggy, that's always kind of been the thing. Ziggy has been wildly off, more so than just him being crazy, apparently. So it really does beg the question, what's going on with Ziggy? And is it something that can be reversed, or is it already too late? Let me know your thoughts and theories in the comments section below. And hey, subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out on the next video. Or don't. I ain't your daddy, but I still love you like one. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, bye-bye.